Hi and welcome everyone to Privacy Tuesday broadcast. I am your host, Professor Tuck, and as usual, I do need to give you a disclaimer. This is not legal, financial, or technical advice. I am not an attorney, and this is just a broadcast and this broadcast does not create any client relationship. This is just you and me having a conversation. I'm simply sharing what I've lived through and what I've learned. In hopes that it will help you navigate what's coming. So we're not here to instigate fear. We're not here to stir up paranoia. Okay, if this scares you, then you're not getting the message correctly. That's the reality of the situation. I'll give you a quick example. When I first started going into the free man stuff. Most people, they would come out and they wouldn't understand it. They'd be angry and they would be militant towards the government. But the way that I come to understand it, I was kind of like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. Now I understand the rules of the game. No reason to get upset. It means I need to start playing by the rules. Okay, that's why this broadcast is not here to instigate fear or paranoia. Okay, this is solution focused, and that's what this broadcast is about, for people who want out and want real solutions, not just some, here, buy this package and buy that package and do this and do that. And most of the shit doesn't even work to begin with. So, okay, so if you want out of the systems, out of contracts, or out of the digital traps that have been laid in plain sight, traps so common most people don't even see them anymore, then every Tuesday, we break down the threats to your privacy, your autonomy, and your digital freedom. And we offer real, workable strategies to help you get off the track before the train hits. Because what's coming isn't science fiction. It's already happening. You just haven't been told the truth about it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits trap. Okay, the most effective surveillance system in history doesn't look like a spy camera. It looks like a tax credit. The system isn't just watching you, it's baiting you. Every benefit, whether it's a student loan, a business incentive, a stimulus payout, or a clean energy grant, all of these come with hidden clauses. You're surrendering some of your rights in exchange for privileges. You sign away your autonomy in small print and over time, and those contracts stack up into the digital cage. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me break this down for you in very simplistic layman's terms. When you go and you do something, if you enter into any contract, what you got to understand is who are the parties to the contract. Okay, so let's say me and a friend decide that I want some of his lumber, and I'm going to give him something that I have that he wants. Maybe I give him a couple of tools or something like that. Okay, although you call that bartering, that is still a contract. And the parties to the contract are you and your friend. And the way that it's created right now is that every agreement that you enter into, because you are claiming to be a U.S. citizen, which we talked about yesterday, if you are claiming to be a U.S. citizen, therefore you are naturally bringing the United States into the contract, making them a party to the contract. So even though they have nothing at risk, and they have everything to gain, because now they can tax your gains, they can control what you can do, they can tell you you're allowed to sell this but not this under these problems, and they set all of the rules of the game for you. And then on top of it, what role did they play other than complete control? So therefore, that contract between you and your friend now becomes between you, your friend, and the United States government. Okay, and so every time you take a benefit, every time you take something, every time you enter into an agreement, and you do it without your sui juris capacity. So what is sui juris? What does that really mean? Okay, sui juris means within one's own right. You have the inherent right endowed to you by your creator to contract. The federal government recognizes this, and therefore they circumvent it by using, I don't know, you could almost call it trickery, but they're playing on your ignorance, because Your ignorance is how they are able to do what they're doing to begin with, okay, by becoming a party to the contract. Okay, so therefore you go out and you get into an agreement. You are now inviting the United States. However, if you want to get into an agreement between you and a friend, you might be sitting there and going, okay, well, how do I do this? Well, you are acting in different capacities. When you're at work, you're operating in that capacity. When you're at home, you're operating under a different capacity. When you're out with friends, you're acting under a different capacity. It is your persona. Okay. And this is taken from William Shakespeare, Life is but a stage and we're all actors, or something along those lines. But this is really where the persona comes from. It is the face or the hat in which you're wearing. And every time you do something, you are acting with a specific hat. So if you go out in public and you say, I'm going to wear my U.S. citizen hat, well, then you're governed by those rules and by that decorum. If you go out and you're wearing I'm in my private capacity, I'm a private citizen, and I have my own rights within my own being private, then you can go out with that hat. Okay. So this is the thing that most people don't understand, is that when you're, the way that they're doing this, the way that they're circumventing this, is that they're doing it through something along the lines of contract interference. Okay. Most people think privacy dies through force. It actually dies through convenience. Okay. Because here's the thing. You like that road, right? So you're going to pay your taxes for that road. And so therefore you are willfully giving up your income, your production, to be able to pay for that road. Now, if the government takes that money and they says, well, it goes into the coffers and we get to spend it on everything that we need to be able to support the government, although they told you that they were going to do it for those roads, you could get them for breach of contract in the same way. But do you? No, you do not. Okay. These conveniences, not only do they strip you of your rights, but they give you certain benefits and privileges. Okay. Such as when you get a driver's license. Okay, when you get a driver's license, you have the benefit and privilege of driving on a road that you paid for out of your production, out of your taxes, whether it be the gasoline tax, whether it be the sin tax, whether it be this tax or that tax or a tariff or this or that or the other. You're paying for every last bit of all of this. Okay, so therefore, instead of having the right to be on it because they're like, yeah, we paid for it, but we get to control it, you are doing nothing but renting it. So therefore, you are willfully allowing them to harvest your resources while giving you benefits and privileges. And you act like you got a favor when in reality, this is your road. You paid for it. You paid for it, and so did everybody else. And unless we as a community agree that this road that we paid for has a speed limit, has this, has that, and there are some things in there that are good. I'm not going to say it's all bad, but there are some things in there that are bad as well. Okay. And this goes into a lot deeper conversation. This is something that you're going to want to read and study up on. I'm hoping that by sharing this information with you, I can help you get to a point where you can actually understand what's not only what's going on, but at least to get pointed in a direction so that you can find it for yourself. Because behind the convenience is control. You're nudged to install apps. You're rewarded for verifying your identity. You're even given digital coins for staying inside the system. Okay. So if you want to go do things right now, they are in the process of putting up an age verification. So this whole digital orb by WorldCoin, or now World, this whole digital ordeal is this whole digital ordeal. This is the slippery slope, because at first it starts with age verification. We need to make sure that kids aren't given access to this. And then all of a sudden the adults start using it, or once those kids grow up, now they're so used to using it, it now gets carried in. And so therefore it's already been in there. And how did it get in there? It got in there through something as simple as, hey, we want to protect your safety. And when you give up liberty in exchange for security, you shall have neither. And even Ben Franklin told us this. And all the while, your purchasing power is dropping. Your time is taxed, and your privacy is silently liquidated in the background. But here's the trap, okay? You're being made poor on purpose. So you'll beg for benefits, Okay. And there's so many people that say this, and there are so many people that have something to say about this, that um, uh, everybody remembers, oh yeah, you used to be able to live off of one income. Well, in the name of climate change, they chose to use public policy to destroy the family nucleus, to reduce favorable conditions to be able to reproduce. Okay, well, in that process, you're being made poor. When you go and you get food stamps, you now lose the privacy of your economy. So if you're making money, they want to know every single dime that you make, how you make it, and if they don't like the way that you're making your money, they can therefore cut you off of your benefits. It doesn't matter whether it's legal or not. They can sit there and say, well, we don't like this. For example, you cannot get food stamps and go to college full time. You must have a part-time job and go to college part-time. Now, if you want to go full time, you can, but it's a lot of work. I did it. But in order to keep my benefits for food stamps, I had to go get a part-time job and go to school full time. And therefore, I'm being treated as a drain on the system. But what am I doing? I'm doing something that's productive, because I will go from a minimum wage, let's say back then it was like $10 an hour in San Francisco, to where now minimum wage is like $15 an hour. But my wage would have gone up to $25 to $35 an hour, just in entry level, and all the way up to $75 an hour as I got better. So did I really take a drain on the system, or did the system make an investment in me? The system was making an investment in me while telling me that they had to approve it, because it was only with their blessing that I was allowed to improve my lot and my situation in life. Okay, you were being made poor for the reason that you will collect benefits. You will get that tax write-off, because you know what? You know you're going to get money back every year. So